Trump people sing, make America great again. It is the music of the citizens who know that we must win. With each beating of our hearts, each of us will not hesitate to vote for Donald Trump on November 8th.
Hello, folks.
Will you join us in our quest? Our country cannot lose.
It's your girl, Suzzanne Monk. Playing a little song I made last year.
So jump on the train and vote Trump on election night.
We did.
Do you hear Trump's people sing? Make America great again. It is the music of deplorables who know that we must win. With each beating of our hearts, all of us will not hesitate
to vote for Donald Trump on November 8th. On November 8th, 2020.
Rally signs up high, all of my patriots far and near. There's only one true choice to vote for president this year.
Good morning, Marsha. Trump. Welcome to the show, you guys. Welcome to the show. It's your girl, Suzzanne Monk, here in Trump Talk US Studios. Just 20 minutes away from the Capitol. Just 20 minutes. You just drive over that way. All the swamp folk are there. But I'm here talking to you folks, you lovely fellow deplorables, fellow patriots, about what's going on in the Trump movement. So, do me a favor, click share if you're watching the show. Click share right now. Zuckerberg does not want you to do that, so do it. Do it. And as usual, it's still Christmas. So let's get these Christmas lights going. And let's get talking about the things that are going on. Some fun news that I know is going to piss off the left. You guys, Israel is considering naming a future train station after President Trump. I posted a video just the other day, which was a video message from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We love our Bibi. And just the joy in Bibi's face, just the joy in Netanyahu's face, finally feeling that he has a real ally in the United States. It's an amazing thing to see. And it's facilitating some excellent moves over in Israel. Israel is no longer feeling compelled to be cucked when it comes to dealing with these radical Islamists who continue to attack. So Israel is not taking any crap anymore. And they're able to do that because the United States has finally stepped up to the plate and supported its ally Israel, as we have always stated we did. The United States has always been a country that claims to be for Israel, but under Obama, and frankly, it started to decay under President Bush, we have actually not lived up to those statements. I know, right, Jason? We have actually not lived up to those statements until now. Until this guy, Trump. Donald J. Trump. Hello, William. How's it going? Donald J. Trump has been the first American president, maybe since the creation of Israel itself, who has actually stood by the United States alliance with Israel and is actually making progress both internationally and here in the United States as far as returning our relationship with Israel to what it should be. What's great is, in addition to us moving our embassy to Jerusalem, our United States embassy to Jerusalem, other states such as Guatemala, Honduras also have come out. They are also going to move their embassies to Jerusalem. So we have started a trend. We've started a movement, really, in the international community to honor Israel as a full nation. It's so frustrating to have watched for many, many years how Israel has been treated by the UN like a child. Constantly reprimanding, blaming, and worse, like a redheaded stepchild. I mean, let's just be honest. Not even like your own kid, like a redheaded stepchild. That's how the UN has treated Israel throughout the Obama administration, into the Bush administration for a very, very, very long time. The United Nations has basically been treating Israel like a child. Finally, with the United States standing behind their nation's Israel. Oh, aren't these fun? Yeah, and they actually are big enough so I can read everything y'all are saying. Finally, with the United States standing behind Israel, the rest of the world is able to start supporting Israel in the way they should. When you are a nation like Guatemala, even though you support Israel and you do a lot of trading with Israel, you have a very difficult time actually standing up to the international community and supporting Israel, your trading partner, because you're afraid of losing trade, losing benefits, losing connections with those other anti-Semitic nations. I mean, it's a business decision. Finally, with the United States standing behind Israel, moving their embassy to Israel, we are able to actually bring support, not just to Israel, but to other nations like Guatemala, Honduras. These nations that have been trading with Israel are supportive of Israel, but have not been able to express that support. So expect the wave to grow. According to Israeli reports, there are at least 10 nations now that are looking to move their embassies to Jerusalem. So we've created a trend, and I'm very, very proud of what we have done. We finally have a president who is standing up to the PLO. We're not sending any more money to the Palestinians. We're not playing their little international game anymore. We finally have a president who is following through on America's promises, because we all know that we had already passed a law stating that we recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel all the way back in 1995. But presidents have waived the order in order to move the embassy since that time. Basically, we claim, like I said, welcome Mark Weinmuller. Basically, as I said, we have claimed to support Israel, but we don't. We do not actually do it. We actually make the claim, and then we kiss anti-Semitic UN butt over and over again until, of course, Trump. So when you watch the video, go on my page when you get a chance. When you watch the video of Bibi Netanyahu and his response, really just inviting people to come and enjoy the nation of Israel, inviting the American citizens to come and experience everything Israel has to offer, and actually just to watch his face, to feel that strength. He can finally stand up against these terrorists who have been attacking his nation. If you live in the nation of Israel, I know, even I have liberal friends who visit Israel, live in Israel, come from Israel, have family in Israel, and they all know that Israel is living, and particularly Jerusalem, is living in a constant state of terror, because at any point that air raid siren can go off and rockets can come flying over the fence. Rockets that kill people, rockets that children have to hide. I mean, they're in school and it's a bomb threat. And you have to stop going to school. You have to stop learning. Hide. And this is how Israel has been living. And it had gotten worse and worse and worse over an extended period of time, because we, the United States, wouldn't stand up to the growing anti-Semitic international quote-unquote community, end quote. We wouldn't stand up to them. And so it just got worse. The rockets got worse, and Israel was more and more limited in their response. Well, finally, they're not limited anymore. So we're not dealing with the Hamas hiding rockets in hospitals. They're taking a whole new tack, and it's going to be a little bit of bloodshed. I agree. Those folks who suggest that this is going to be a little bit difficult, there's going to be some violence. Yes, there is. But for years, how it is that there's been violence. This is what I want everyone to try to understand. For years, there has been violence, but Israel has been, whenever it responds in defense of its people, it's attacked. Finally, when Israel stands up to defend its people, it will have the support of the United States in the UN, and we are freeing these other nations to actually join in that support. So we are building an international coalition now, because of the actions of Trump and UN Secretary Nikki Haley, who has done a wonderful job there at the UN. You know, we all have our doubts in the Trump movement about Nikki Haley at first, because she wasn't really a big Trumper. But her work in the UN has been on point, and absolutely necessary. And she's doing a great job. So they're cutting $285 million from their funds to the UN. And I believe this is probably just a beginning, just the beginning of the funding cuts we will see going towards the UN. We will continue to see that moving up and up, that number, as we continue to out the behavior of the UN as not just anti-American, but anti-individualist and pro-globalist, as anti-Semitic and pro-Islamic. As we continue to out that in the UN, we'll continue to see more and more funding from the United States be cut, because that is the main method that we, as the United States, have of mitigating this movement in the UN to Shariaism. I'm not trying to be a jerk to the UN. It is a clear and evident path we've watched. The UN has become more and more anti-Semitic and more pro-Sharia countries, right down to giving Saudi Arabia a leading position on the Human Rights Council. So we've seen this behavior again and again and again in the international community, in the UN specifically. And finally, we have all means. We have a president who's willing to use the leverage he has. And that leverage is the almighty dollar. I wish I had a dollar I could shake right now. Woo. The almighty dollar actually is the one tool we have to move the UN's actions significantly. So expect to see some changes, even greater changes in the UN, as we build that coalition of nations, as we start cutting back funds, and the UN starts realizing what continuing this anti-American, anti-Semitic path is doing to its body. Because it's undermined its ability to have any effect in the world, and it has become a propaganda tool. And we in the United States, we're done paying for you to use the UN to advance radical Islam. We're done. And we've got Israel's back, and I'm really, really excited to see everything that is going on there. And I just can you imagine? Can you just imagine in a few years they're gonna open up? Yes, Nancy says, "Oh my God, there's always been violence. The beginning of time to now that we're actually frozen in time." I mean, what's the sense of all the violence? What is the sense of the violence? What is the sense of continuing to support a group like Hamas, like Hezbollah, that have taken over the Palestinian movement and have no interest in the existence of Israel or the existence of the United States? These organizations have deliberately, good morning, Hareem. These organizations have deliberately we're talking about Israel, which I'm glad Hareem is here, because Hareem is such a great patriot. He is Jewish. He celebrates Hanukkah. He does all of that. So he knows. And I know his heart has always been very strong, standing with Israel, as mine has, but he has that personal connection to it. And Hareem, you know as well as I do that Hezbollah, Hamas, these organizations have been ongoing using the UN against Israel. Love you too, Hareem. I love my Hareem. Such a big patriot, and you're doing some really good work out in California. And just keep on keeping on what you're doing. I know Hareem lives in the deep. He lives in some deep hood. So when Hareem goes out and rolls in his Trump shirt, it's a little different than y'all out in the country rolling with your Trump shirt. I'm just gonna point that out. So Hareem, you know as well as I do that Hamas has continued to. Unfortunately, it's literally holding the people in Palestine. I'm not saying the Palestinian people, because I don't believe that there's not a Palestinian people. These are Jordanian and Egyptian Muslims who stayed and occupied this territory after Israel won the war, won this land. They stayed to intentionally create a thorn and to undermine the nation of Israel. That's a historical fact. I'm just informing you of it. Now, this is the kind of thing we've been dealing with on and on and on for many, many years. So when you have leftism, when you have the communist ideology, because as Hareem will know, many of these Muslim Brotherhood, share Hareem, share. Many of the Muslim Brotherhood, as we know, have been involved with communist organizations, have been basically collectivists. The Sharia law system is a collectivist ideology in and of itself. It's the idea that the church would own everything. The individual has to contribute only to the church, contribute all of its wealth, its resources, its daily activity to the, it is a collectivist ideology. That is why we have watched the international community, which has become more collectivist and more communist, including the government of the United States under Barack Obama, become more and more connected and tolerant of openly terrorist groups who call for the destruction, the removal of Israel from the map. This is why. This is why we had that whole Iran deal under Obama, which was a huge decay in the international stance against this kind of anti-Israeli terrorism, and a nation that literally the government of, thank you so much, Mark, and thank you for Harim for sharing. Yes, that's awesome. Mark says, just linked on a couple of Trump and deplorable pages. Disinterested majority is listening. Welcome! Disinterested majority, welcome, 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 and welcome, silent minority. I'm the least silent of the silent minority. So welcome you guys to the show. If you're watching the show, please do click share. Zuckerberg does not like when you share. He doesn't want us talking about this. He doesn't want us supporting our president in this issue because of the fact that it's going to undermine their entire globalist status agenda. It all ties back into that globalist ideology, and Israel and the United States have long been bulwark, a block in that movement of global collectivism because we support national sovereignty, we support individual liberty. If you're in the city of Jerusalem, you will note that Muslims, Jews, Christians, all faiths are present, celebrating life, living life, worshiping their religion, engaging in their faith. You get to the other side, you get to the Palestinian side, that's not happening. It's not happening. It's just a matter of fact. The nations that support national sovereignty are also supporting freedom. The nations that limit national sovereignty are supporting globalism and collectivism and statism, and all of those things mean slavery. If you listen to the tenets of Sharia law, it is a slave system. It is a system that enslaves the mind and the government. It is a legal system. And I'm not talking about my Muslim friends I know that want to worship and celebrate and honor their Islamic tradition. That's fine. Be Muslim. That's not my problem. My problem is Sharia law. My problem is using Islam as a governmental system. That is Shariaism, and that is opposed in every single possible way to liberty and the principles of freedom that we Americans have honored since the founding of this nation. Hello, JW. Hi, Patrick. How's it going? So, I want you guys to keep, as I always say, we have to call exactamundo. We have to call when we love something. We have to call when we hate something. So if you have a chance this week, give a call to President Trump at the White House. You can leave a message. They have a switchboard that takes your messages. Thank him for what he's doing with Israel. Feel free to actually give Nikki Haley a call. Find her email. I'll see if I can find it out. Yes. Devout Muslims follow Sharia law and fake ones don't. And let literally... just as we have Catholics who don't practice that much, we have Jews who don't practice that much, we have Christians who don't, they only go to church on Easter Sunday. We literally have that. Now, Harim, you make a good point, however, because we have several people in the United States, we are starting to see more and more, I wanted to talk about this, we are starting to see more and more individuals, Muslim individuals, running for political office. Now, we are a melting pot, and I support the melting pot 100%, and I always will. However, it is critical that we extremely vet. Alicia, I'm going to post the president's phone number and Nikki Haley. Hopefully I'll find the number to her office on my page after the broadcast. So check back in on that. We need to be very, very, very careful in vetting these Muslim individuals now running for office. And by very careful, I mean we need to research everyone they've ever been involved with. Have they been involved with CARE? Because CARE is a body, an organization literally designed to impose Sharia in this country and to undermine Americanism. Are they involved with other organizations that have donated to groups that support Hezbollah, groups that support Hamas, groups that support pro-Palestinian causes? Are they involved with these things? Because this is where you're going to see, and to be fair, and women, you're free to do whatever you want. Muslim women, you're free to do whatever you want. I personally feel that any woman who is wearing the headscarf, the hijab, and feels she must do that, okay? That to me is a symbol that you honor your religion over your individual freedom. And I really feel we have problems. I'm kind of upset that we don't have a symbol like that for the men, because the female radical Muslim dresses in a certain way just out of religious rule. Whereas, what do the men do? Maybe they wear a beard. Maybe. So we have to vet all of these candidates viciously, and we should be responsible, us patriots should be responsible for outing their terrorist ties and reporting those ties. It's great to find out this organization, this person, yes, and Michigan, their whole pockets. And Hareem, because of the sanctuary city nature of LA, it's going to continue to be a problem over there. And they're going to continue, the leftist movement is going to continue to try to run Muslims for office because they're going to use that race card. Well, Kareem will tell you, Muslim isn't a race. It's a religion. And Shariaism is a political ideology. It doesn't have anything to do with being a race. It's like saying the Borg is a race. No, the Borg is a collectivist mindset that takes over the bodies of individuals and takes their resources and consumes them for itself. Very, very similarly, people who want to claim that Islam is a race are doing a very similar thing. They're doing a very similar thing, trying to absorb the other races into Islam. And that, frankly, is what the radical Islamic agenda is. It is to take over the world. It is to impose Sharia law on the planet. Do all Muslims with that? I don't know. I don't know all Muslims. I know, welcome Marsha, I know that in fact, the radical Muslim agenda is to impose Sharia law on the planet because they state it openly all the time. All the time. So we need to be very careful when we're vetting these candidates. And we need to continue to be careful. But to be fair, we need to be careful vetting our own candidates, okay? Because as we know, let's talk about Joy Vila for a second. And I know Hareem has met Joy, so I'd love to get Hareem's take on the Joy Vila situation because it has melted down, you guys. Oh my gosh. Has that melted down in such a very short period of time. So if you haven't followed the case, Joy Vila on December 22nd came out with a political article accusing Corey Lewandowski of smacking her on the butt twice at a party at Trump International here in D.C. I know, what the hell is going on, right? Smacked her butt at a party here in D.C. in November, which I wasn't at that party. I was at an event adjacent to that party. So I actually was able to see something. It was great. It's a great event. But in fact, this incident was when Joy Vila claimed that Corey Lewandowski smacked her on the butt. And she then went, after about a couple weeks, after about 3 or 4 weeks, she went, that's all right, Jen. And I was like, I don't get it yet, but it'll come to me. She went to the police to file a sexual assault claim. A sexual assault claim because Corey Lewandowski smacked her on the butt. Now, women, I don't want you to be sexually harassed or, groped in any way that you don't want. I, however, do stand up for your right to actually stand up at the moment and say, excuse me, don't smack me on the butt. Now, she said she told him, don't do it again, and he did it again. Okay. Then walk away. You took a picture with him, then walk away. He smacked you on the ass, walk away. Tell other people. Tell people in the movement. I don't understand using law enforcement. This is what has upset me. And I'm not making a decision on whether or not Joy is truly on the Trump train or not. There are others who have made that decision, and I'm not publicly making a decision. I don't know. I'm not certain. But what I do know is I don't like the way she's handling the situation, using law enforcement and using the media to create a smear campaign. Interestingly, right before Corey Lewandowski is about to be involved in the Trump administration. Yeah, Rib says 2 weeks later. This is the time. Frankly, I don't think it's a thing you take to the media. It's not something you take to the media. This is not a media issue. Using the media in this way is what has really undermined my confidence in Joy. Now, let's talk about what's happening to her on Twitter, because she has lost thousands and thousands of followers, up to 20,000 plus followers, and has now started to buy followers, which you can see in her numbers going up. Going up. We'll come back to that in a second, Alicia. So it's been very rough, and she's kind of getting her butt handed to her over on Twitter, and she has not tweeted other than she tweeted a couple days ago, and she hasn't tweeted anything since. So I feel like, thank you, Janet. I feel like she is, kind of overwhelmed a little bit by the response she's getting. Now, here's the worst of it. Good morning, Gary. Here's the worst of it for Joy. If I'm Joy, I don't care. She outed herself. She's run herself aground. She's handling it in a bad way, which I think is going to negatively affect her. But if she thought that she was going to get some sympathy from the left for going after a Trump supporter, if she thought she was going to get some sympathy from the left for engaging in this hashtag Me Too behavior, she's not getting it. She's not getting it at all. She's actually getting attacked by the left. And here's the worst of it. The left is a batch of hypocritical assholes. I'm just going to say it outright. And I'm sorry if my cussing offends you people. Let's just deal with reality. The left is a bunch of hypocritical assholes because they're calling her a token. They're claiming that, oh, well, see, that's what happens when you, become a House N-word for the Republican Party. They're actually attacking her race and her size. Mm-hmm. They are sex shaming her. They are race shaming her from the left. From the left. Not to mention no one on the right. All of the Trump train is abandoning her in huge force. So my point on the Joy Villa situation is this, is that she is causing ultimate downfall of her own career by choosing this method. There are plenty of methods. Oh my gosh, you guys, there are plenty of methods to deal with this. Go talk to Katrina Pearson. Go talk to Kellyanne Conway. Message Lara Trump and be like, hey, I don't like when Corey does this. Can we maybe get him to not do that? Hey, Ken, how's it going? But instead of doing that, she has chosen this very public way of addressing the situation. And due to that, she is getting attacked from both the right, but also, unfortunately, from the left. And I'm certain when all of this falls apart, welcome, Mike, from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Mike. I'm certain her career is going to be in a really bad place afterwards. So if she joined the movement to build her career, yes, I saw that tweet. Thank you for mentioning that, Hareem. There have been tweets from the left for thanking her for exposing the white supremacists, thanking her for infiltrating the movement. Is she an infiltrator? I don't know. But it looks really suspicious at this point. And worse, no one on the right is going to respect this kind of victimhood and exploiting your victimhood for your own benefit. We're talking about Joy. Welcome, Wanda. We're talking about the Joy Villa situation. You all know Joy Villa. She wore that beautiful MAGA dress to the Grammys. She was basically a Bernie supporter prior to that. Now, I'm not mad because others were Bernie supporters, Hareem, Others supported Bernie early on and came on the Trump train a few weeks into the process. Joy Vila being one of those. Not me. I'm what we call an escalator Trumper. Trump goes down on the, and by the time he got down here, I was like, that's my president right there. That is my president right there. But there are others who started out as Bernie supporters, and a lot of my good friends, and a lot of some really powerful Trump supporters. So I don't judge her for being a Bernie supporter first. I'm not saying, I want us to be careful. And yeah, Alicia, maybe we could. Harim, if you're still on, I'd love to bring you on and get your thoughts on this. So if you're still on, send me a little message. I'll invite you on. We'll have a little talk. So I am just, not all Bernie supporters who became Trump supporters are moles. They're not. But the way Joy Vila rose to fame, and, you know, she got very involved in the Trump movement. So it's very interesting to see. It's very interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds in the future. But what she's finding is that Trump supporters are not playing the Me Too game. Whether it's Corey or anybody, they're not playing the Me Too game. They're just not. Let's see if we can invite. Let's see if Harim's still on here. Yeah, maybe he'll come on back. If Harim comes on back, well, Harim, I'd love to get your opinion on it. So just click join the broadcast, and I'll bring you on camera, and we'll do a little chat. Because I know I have not met Joy personally, but I know Harim has, and I know many people who I know Denise Ruiz is very upset because she's connected with Joy. There are people in the movement who have made friends with this woman and feel very violated by her actions now, today, and over the past week. We're going to see how it unfolds. But wow, what's disturbing is the actions of the left, the reaction of the left to, she's getting left out by the right, and the left attacks her just as much. And you should have known it was going to happen. You should have known it was going to happen. This is a lesson to all women out there. The way to handle sexual harassment, unwanted sexual advances, is not going to the cops because somebody smacked you on the butt. It's not going to Politico and smearing people because somebody may or may not have smacked you on the butt. There are we used to just slap men who did that. Do you remember those days, you guys? Remember when a dude would smack you on the butt and you just slap him? What if that happened? And there are people who say, well, you can't act like that. She was afraid that, you know, not all women, great, Harim's here, I'm going to bring Harim on. Not all women, you know, can stand up for that because they could risk what? What was she risking? Oh no, let's bring Harim on and see what yep. Add Harim. Harim is adding. Coming on the show, adding. Hello, Harim, my brother. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Suzzanne? I love you so much. How are you?
Love you too, my brother. I've been following all the stuff you're going through out in the West Coast. I want to thank you guys for all the work you're doing out there and all the work you're doing. We got Kyle out of jail for Christmas. We're doing some really important things. But I wanted to bring you on because I know we're talking about Joy Vila, and I know you've met her personally, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this whole situation.
You know, I gotta tell you, I've been following this story about her accusing this guy of, you know, grabbing her butt or whatever. Apparently, this guy was a former, what was he?
Corey Lewandowski. He was Trump's campaign manager before he hired Kellyanne Conway.
Okay, so you know he's not anymore, right? So
no, he actually was removed from the campaign around the middle of the campaign when they hired Kellyanne on.
Okay, yeah, you know, I really, it's so hard to follow everything, but anyway, I have been following this story about her doing this, and not only that, but look, I've heard rumors that she was just trying to infiltrate the movement. She was trying to make a name for herself, that she was trying to use Trump supporters to bring her sales up, blah, blah, blah. I heard a lot of rumors, but, you know, I have met her in person. And, you know, from what I see, she seems to be a Trump supporter. But with all these rumors and with everything that's going on, you have to question it, you know? And it's like right now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did make a post earlier on your feed, and I said, what the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I just found a picture of me and her, and I want to post it and be like, what's going on? You know, now I do understand, and I do remember why I always say don't trust no one. You know, it's really hard to trust people. I've been in the movement since the beginning. Yep. Probably a few days after you, but nonetheless,
just a tiny little bit, just a sliver, like a blink of an eye.
You know, exactly. But you know, I've seen people use the movement. I've seen people just, you know, that you can't trust everyone, and it's kind of sad. I've seen people use the movement. I've seen people use other people. I've been used,
yes.
You know, and it's and it's not cool when people do that. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I want to ask. I really want to find out if she really truly is a Trump supporter or not.
Right.
You know, it's really kind of hard because, like you said, many Bernie supporters came and jumped on the Trump train afterwards. Right. There was a lot of people that have told me, and I say this humbly, and I'm very honored. They have told me, Harim, you know what? I came out because of you. You know, I saw that the rumors and the whole racist narrative wasn't true. You know, seeing you out there, so I came to this side. So I respect that. Right. But at the same time, I you know, it's you know, when people like Joy Villa come out, she makes it kind of bad for other people. You know, I don't understand it. It's kind of hard. But like I said, a lot of people came on afterwards. But all I can worry about is me.
Yep.
So, you know I voted for Trump. I voted for our president. And I'm going to vote for him again. Correct. And I've been out there. And so, you know, it would be unfortunate if Joy Villa actually was using the movement and she has been infiltrating. It would be sad. On the other hand, if she's a Trump supporter, that would be really cool. I wish so. But at this point, I don't know. You know, everybody's questioning it. And like I said, I can question it all I want. But at the end, you know, she might be an infiltrator. She might be just using us. She might be fake. But at the end, I have to worry about me. And what about me? I love my president. He's my president. I've been on the Trump train, and I'm going to support this man. And I want to make it easy for him to get reelected. Right. Not only that, to get people from the opposition that might be uninformed, to try to educate them. Not only that, to get conservatives that really don't vote anymore, that have given up, you know, to try to get to them and give them, you know, inspire them and motivate them, and the young people. And educate them a little bit more, maybe because they probably, you know, kind of have stepped away from, you know, from politics or whatever. But you know, that needs to be our main goal.
Well, Ariman, you'll probably agree with me on this. You know, it's the Democrats love to use celebrities to try to build up their movement. The Trump movement has been grassroots individuals, just hardworking, regular folks like you and me and Marco and so many other people who have put their time and effort, their own money on the line to make sure this president is elected and make sure this agenda gets enacted. And so I think on the Trump side, we need to be a little careful about engaging in that celebrity game. And I think we should stay focused on what actions are people doing. You know, I kind of feel like this whole Joy Villa issue is one of these things they've devised to divide us on the Trump movement, when what we really need to be focused on is primarying some of these candidates, putting pressure on the Republicans to support the president's agenda. We've got a lot of work to do in 2018 to make sure that we elect more Trump-supporting candidates. And these kind of things are a diversion from that, which is why I wanted to just kind of let everybody know what's going on with it. And I I like you, I haven't made a decision on is she real, is she fake? And frankly, it doesn't matter to me. I just find it frustrating as a woman to watch women use law enforcement and use the media when a good smack in the face is really what probably was called for.
You know, I want to say, like, I totally agree with you on the whole police thing, and I respect that view and opinion, and that's the very truth, because when you go that route, I mean, and I even question, because you said that she reported this incident 2 weeks later.
Yes, actually, the incident was on November 28th, and she filed the police report in December, the 22nd, 21st, 23rd, around that time. So it was,
Okay,
and she addressed that in one of her articles, why she took so long. She was getting validation from her other friends. Did it really happen? She was nervous. I feel that, I as a woman, I'm just telling you, Hareem, if you smacked me on the butt and I didn't like it, I'd tell you to stop, and if you did it again, you'd get slapped in the face, and then we'd be okay.
And I would expect a slap in the face,
right.
You know, not, you know, but anyway, you know, whatever, for whatever reason, at this point right now, I mean, you make a lot of, you made a lot of sense before, and I was agreeing with you, because, you know, I have heard that there's been people that have infiltrated the movement in order to divide us. Mm-hmm. And as a matter of fact, I've been seeing this across the country, a lot of infighting. And at the end of the day, I question it, and I say, you know what, it's got to be these people that they're talking about that are infiltrating our movement and trying to divide us. Is this a case of that going on right now with Joy Villa? Maybe so. But then you go on and on to say that we need to focus on the real stuff, on our president, on our country, and not only like doing the stuff that you were saying, but you know, I really feel like it's so important for every American to find out, first of all, what district you live in. Yes. Second of all, who your representatives are, and yes, to start getting involved in your local governments.
Exactly, Hareem.
And start to being a voice, yes, for your own life and for what's right, because what we've done is let these politicians, mm-hmm, dictate our lives, you know, and that's why we, you know, using that celebrity stuff, and there's a lot of ego going on in the movement as well, where people are like, you know, oh, you know, they all of a sudden they got a big movement, a lot of views and a lot of followers, and all of a sudden they're the leaders of the movement, you know, and it's like, and then there's egos, and then there's infighting, and it's like, it's very pathetic. It only brings the movement down. But, you know, and people have accused me of that, and I'm like, you know what? No, that's never me. You know, I'm no one. I've just been one man with, like I've said it before, with a lot of passion for my country and for my president and for our Constitution, for our veterans, for our elderly, for our orphans, for our homeless, for the poor. America is our home. I'm an American. I was born in California. Just because I'm brown, people think that, you know, I'm illegal. And then my parents came here illegal. Like, no, you got me twisted. I'm an American, and I'm very proud of it. But you know what? I do have a lot of respect for a lot of these candidates that are conservative, that are patriots, President Trump supporters, that are actually running for office. That are actually, you know, against all odds, like our president, because they care about this country. So, I mean, and I've met so many, Suzzanne, and I try to put them out there. Unfortunately, also, you get these candidates that you really are not sure. Are they really real? Are they true? Are they going to keep their word? It's so hard. But you know what? We do our best. And
do our best.
You know, regarding Joey Villa, I'm gonna be honest with you. I try to look at the good in everyone. I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. As of right now, I don't know what's going on with her. But like I said, I can't worry about her. I got to worry about me and what I'm doing, you know?
Well, and I don't think that, you know, everyone is worried about there's all this infighting and that it's going to bring the movement down. frankly, I don't worry too much about the infighting. Or, are you a real Trump supporter? Is Joy a real Trump? Because she wore the MAGA dress, it still spread the message. She was still part of spreading the message. Her impact still had a positive impact, even if what's happening now might be negative. So I don't worry about the infighting, because I know we all got a lot of work to do. What I do note, Harim, and you'll probably agree with me on this, the people you find who are real patriots are the patriots who say, like you did, and I say the same thing, I'm just one person. No matter how much impact or how many people listen to my podcast, I've never said I'm a leader in the movement. We're all just individuals who love our country and who are doing our part. I always say I'm happy to do my part, and I hear you say the same thing all the time. You're just happy to do our part. Now, that's the sign of a true Trump supporter. Humble, America first. America first. So one of the ways to vet these candidates and fellow Trump supporters, to be honest, are they putting America first, or are they putting their ego first? That's a key thing.
Yeah, here in Los Angeles, like I said, I've been doing this since the beginning. It got to the point where we started vetting people that would come out to our rallies or our protests or go to city council meetings with us or town halls, because we didn't know. I mean, it's so nice when you see a person for the first time and they got an American flag and Trump gear, and it's happened. You see them the first time and everybody's like, okay, cool, because you love to see that. But then they flip on you. They flip on you real fast. And it's happened a couple of times here, but it's gotten to the point where we vet people. We say, you know what, they got to come out with this at least 3 times. They got to get to meet, the ones the other patriots. We got to get to know them, and not just at first, and even then it's still hard. But right. You know what? We know who the true patriots are. We really do know. Well, it says in the Bible,
you know a tree by its fruit. And you can see the real fruit of real patriots who have been in this movement, and what we have accomplished, what you've accomplished, what all have been. You can see our good work and what we've been doing. And that's one of the ways we're going to have to keep vetting people going forward, bringing new people into the movement. But, then you got to show up and help do the work.
Well, like you were also saying, we all have a part to play in this movement. We all have a role, right. From the person that's, and I get this a lot of people, they're like, that are elderly. I have a lot of friends on Facebook that are elderly and that are disabled. And all they can tell me is like, we'll pray for you. And I'm like, that's all we need. We pray for the movement. We pray for our patriots. That's all we need. From the person that, that prays to the person that's running to help and drain the swamp from all across the country. From people that are out there, at city halls, council meetings, protests, rallies, everyone has a part to play.
Everyone has a part.
But at the end, and I keep on thinking about this, it really, I'm so passionate about this, sister. I mean, I really am.
I know
it's like, we are patriots. This is our land. Yeah. We are acknowledged and recognized by the world community, from the UN even. We are a sovereign country. I don't buy this BS from La Raza thugs that this is Mexico. BS. I'm like, in your dreams and your imaginary, maybe in the past, but right now, no. And I had the privilege, the honor to be born within these borders and be an American, to where the Constitution protects me and gives me freedoms that the whole world wants to come and be a part of.
Yes.
But they gotta do it legally. They gotta do it the right way. And you know what? And like I say, we're a family, and we have to take care of our family first, which is America is our home. Americans is our family. I was at a rally on holiday edition rally at the Star, at President Star.
I saw the picture of that. Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah, and then you know what? It was so ironic, because some black guy was hating on Trump, and I was like, why do you hate on him so much? He said, because he put down your people. And I was like, who's my people? He said, Mexicans. And I said, wait a minute, Mexicans are a nationality. I'm an American. At the same time, when he was saying that, this Latino woman passes by and she calls me a wetback, and I mean a beaner, and she degrades me for being a Latino. And I said, see, these are my people that you're referring to. They're not my people. They're not my people. Americans are my people. I told this black young guy, I was saying, you're more of my people than she is.
Yeah.
Whites, Asians that are Americans. And you know what? And I'll say this, and I want, please, if I may. And what bonds us as a family, what ties us together, is the sacrifice and the blood that has been shed by every single soldier that has given it all for each and every single one of us.
Yes.
Okay. Even the Confederates. You know, I have to respect them. I have to respect them because they, you know, even though we didn't agree, they didn't agree with the North, and it, you know, and we had to go to civil war. We had to have a war. But that's what made our country. That's what united us at the end. And I have to give them credit. You know, on their history, on their forefathers. And they're still here, and we're still here. You know, I got to be honest with you. I was even thinking about it like this morning. Like, even a skinhead, a skinhead is more of my people than an illegal immigrant, to be honest with you. Why? Because he's an American and I'm an American, and that's more deeper than Mexicans are not my people. You know, if you
come here illegally, you can't possibly be part of the family. We don't invite burglars into our family when they break into our home. If you want to be part of the family, if you want the benefits of Americanism, you have to come here legally and show that you respect those benefits in the first place. And if you've broken in so that you can get birthrights for your kid, or that for whatever reason, breaking into the country shows that you don't respect the values, and you can't possibly be part of a family you don't respect.
You know what, Suzzanne, if I can elaborate even more on this, this is so amazing that we're talking about this. And if I may, I want to give a shout out to everyone, just a general shout out to everyone. A lot of people are saying hi, and but thank you all for tuning in. This is the Hardcore American Patriot with my good friend and patriot, Suzzanne. I love her so much. But Suzzanne, you know, you were talking about, you know, coming here legally and you know, and doing it the right way. I got to tell you something. A lot of these people that come here illegally, La Raza, I've heard him use the Bible, our Bible, the Torah, the Old Testament, where it says, where God commands us to love our neighbor, to love the stranger. Okay, so, you know, and they use that, and they try to use that against us. But it's so funny because they don't understand, and it goes along to what you were saying, that there's rules. They have to do it the right way. What they're referring to is the Bible, and what the Bible was referring to was the nation of Israel. When the nation of Israel, there was a lot of people that wanted to be part of the nation of Israel, and they wanted to convert, or they wanted whatever, to be, or to marry the Israelite women or whatnot. But they had requirements to go through in order to be part of the nation of Israel. And for the men, the number one requirement was that they had to be circumcised.
Yes.
That was the rule.
Yeah,
so,
the rule.
You know, not only that, but to give you an example. So once they did that, they became a part of the nation. They became a part of the family. And then that's when they were the original Israelites were commanded to love the stranger. That's what they were referring to. Once they were part of the nation, once they were part of the family. It's the same thing here.
It's the same thing here. And the thing is, I find it so funny, these so-called Christians who want to use that against us, they don't actually want to go help the stranger either. They want to take tax money out of my pocket and make the government do it. And I don't remember that being in the Bible at all, Harim. And I've read it many, many times. I don't recall anywhere it says, steal from your friend with taxes and make him give to the poor. It says for you to do that. You as an individual. The relationship, this is one of the things that's so different about the Jewish faith and the Christian faith compared to the Shariaist ideology, is that is a faith of the individual. My relationship is with God personally, me and God, and then Harim and God. And it doesn't have anything to do with Harim and Suzzanne. It's me and God and Harim and God, that private personal relationship. when you get a system like Sharia, they want God to be the government. And they want to use the government to impose, and that is slavery, and not very Christian, not very spiritual, because you're not doing the work yourself. You're forcing other people to do the work God is telling you to do.
You know, now that we're getting into Sharia law, and we were talking about the Muslims earlier, you were bringing them up. You know, I'm totally against Sharia law. I have personally been standing up to these Muslims in Los Angeles way before the movement. I totally understand the Islam faith, and here in Los Angeles, we have been overcome by the Muslim community. It's really concerning. But I gotta say, you know, and if I may, and this is with all due respect, because you were talking about Muslims earlier, and I gotta tell you, and I mentioned it, there's Muslims, there's Muslim. When you call yourself Muslim, that means that you're devout. That means that you do follow Sharia law and the Quran, period. If you say you're Muslim, yet you don't go to mosque, you don't really pray 2-3 times a day, and you drink liquor, and you're out with women, American women, and you're living the Western life, you're really not a Muslim. Just like you were saying, Christians, you know, Christians say they're Christian, you know, but then there's others that only go to church on Easter, or only go to church on, you know, on Christmas or whatever.
Well, we all know people who go to church on Sunday and then go cheat on their wife or husband Sunday night. We know people
exactly.
are like that.
Or there's Jews that say, yeah, I'm a religious Jew, but they don't really go to synagogue. They only go to synagogue on Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah or whatever on high holidays. So the same thing with the so-called Muslims. Then they're not real Muslims. There is no such thing as moderate Muslim. It's just either you're a Muslim or you're not. And if you say you're a Muslim, I don't buy none of that BS that they're peaceful. No, because a Muslim, a real Muslims, if they identify as that, they believe in Sharia law and they believe in their Quran. And that's it, and period. So this whole Sharia law, you know, I'm not down with it. I'm totally against it. I will fight against it. And then you're talking about, we got politicians, or we got candidates or politicians that are Muslims or that are running for office.
A lot running now. I see it a lot.
But we got organizations like CARE, and I can name others if I take out my notes. But I can name other Muslim organizations that come in the disguise of trying to be helping the community, which they do.
We're spreading diversity and tolerance. They love to use that word. We're just trying to create tolerance.
Exactly. But they're not. What they're doing is pushing their agenda, which is to impose Sharia globally. And you know what? I believe, and this is just a belief in my opinion, that one day they will. That one day they will be able to achieve what they want to do. And that's to impose Sharia law all around the world, because you know the statistics already. You've seen it. The Muslim population, the birth rate is like up at its high. By the year and I don't have my notes, forgive me. By the year we're going to be ran by you know, Muslims are going to be all over. But the thing is that their religion is not even, their ideology is very destructive, is a very violent one. You were talking about Hamas. Do you know what the word Hamas in Hebrew means?
You were saying
the word Hamas in Hebrew means violence.
Yeah.
Okay? These Palestinians do not ever want peace with Israel.
No, they don't want peace.
We were at counter protesting the Palestinians who were actually protesting our president's decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem. And you know, it was so funny because they were like, peace to us. They were like, peace, peace. We want, but at the same, and right after that, in the next spread, they were like, from the river to the sea.
I know. You know, peace if you all just go die, right? I mean, as long as you die, then we'll have peace.
Exactly. Thank you. But you know,
you've got to be really excited about what Trump has been doing as far as relationships with Israel, moving the embassy, and just I hope you got a chance to see Bibi Netanyahu's video recently, just kind of thanking the United States for what we're doing. It's so important that we stand. I was saying this earlier. It's so important that we stand with Israel because, like you say, the Sharia's mission is to take over the world, and there are few things standing in the way of that other than the United States, Israel, and oddly enough, nations like Russia.
Suzzanne, I'm so glad, I'm so happy that you're touching on this Israel issue because it's really close to my heart. Now, I look, this is more than just supporting Israel. This is a spiritual thing. This goes beyond the heavenly realms. This is God. This is a God thing. Now, partly why Israel is very close to my heart is because I do have Jewish heritage on my mother's side, Spanish Jews, and but at the same time I do have Latino, and I'm sure I got indigenous blood in me, and so that's why first of all it's very close. Second of all is because I don't believe in God. I know God. I know there's a God. I know there's a creator that someone created us, and that's God, the heavens and the earth and us, and in a very, very deep way. And this whole issue with Israel, it's a spiritual thing too. There's a verse, a scripture in the Torah, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, where it says, where God tells Abraham, he tells him, I'm going to make you a nation. And those that bless you will be blessed. And those that curse you will be cursed. And I cannot tell you that this is so truth, so much truthful. And I've seen it, and it's so obvious and so apparent. And I got to tell you, we do have a lot of patriots also that are very anti-Semitic.
I agree.
And they question and
racist too. To be fair, I love my patriot movement, but there's, we got some bigots in the movement. We do, and that's unfortunate. But I wish to, with this platform that we're having, I wish to say that Israel, America comes first. We have to take care of our own. Yeah. But we have a friend in Israel that is like the greatest bond of allies ever in the history of mankind. I'm serious. Yeah. Because this is like, wow. And I know that we of course take care of ourselves first, but at the same time, if we take care of our greatest ally in a spiritual way as well, we're going to be blessed and we're going to be okay. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to go on a limb right now, because I have posted this before. And I'll say this, and this is a trip. I say the very existence of the United States can lie in our support for Israel. Really. I really know it. If we stop supporting Israel like Obama did, look what's going to happen. Look what's going to happen. We're the worst. As you know, Haroon, they call Israel the little Satan, and they call America the great Satan. So if they can succeed in destroying Israel, we're next. We're next.
You know what? Yes, exactly. Now, I got to say something. We got to distinguish also, because there's a lot of confusion. A lot of these patriots, they talk bad about Zionism, and they talk about Jews in a bad regards. For example, like Soros, the Rothschilds, and all these Jewish people that have very big influence, like Zuckerberg, and he's Jewish too, and as well. But they're doing nothing but harm Americans, and that's very, very true. But the thing is that the reason why is you got a lot of liberal Jews. A lot of leftist Jews. These are the Jews that I actually have gone to protest, and are actually the Jews, the white people, but they're not white because they're Jews, supporting BLM, supporting La Raza. And it's weird because I'm like, because they question me because I have my Star of David, and they're like, you're Jewish. I said, yeah, I'm half Jewish. They're like, well, I'm Jewish too. And I'm like, it figures. You must be a liberal Jew. And I'm like, you're in the wrong side. You're ignorant. You're clueless. So But you got a lot of devout, religious, God-fearing Jews that support Trump and America 100%.
Yes.
America needs to know that. Everyone needs to know that. Because there is a lot of
Trump's doing a great job of really kind of showing that hypocrisy for what it is in the liberal Jewish movement. Here's Trump. He's supporting Israel. He's supporting the state of Jerusalem being the capital of Israel. He's supporting the Jewish people overtly, which forces these liberal Jews, they want to hate Trump. They have to actually go against their own people in order to do that. And it's showing the hypocrisy again and again and again. That's one of the things I love about President Trump that he's so successful at. He doesn't have to call it out with anger. Just by his actions, his positive actions, he's showing the hypocrisy of the left again and again and again.
You know, that's amazing that you say that, because I really know and I really believe that God put Trump in office. And I really believe that Trump is allowing himself to be led by God and be directed by him. And this is like, I can see it. I mean, it's just so obvious and so apparent. Not only is he using Trump to expose the left and this and that, but God is allowing all this for the people to be exposed. These people that don't fear God, that are straight out evil, that that have made things that have been wrong to be out to be right. I mean, everything is being exposed. The truth will always come out. And I gotta say this. I'm very concerned after President Trump. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we all know, as Christians and Jews, we know prophecy. We know what's written. We know what the prophets have foretold. And you know what? The ultimate, the climax is going to be when Messiah comes and when he appears. And until then, right now we're living in a very beautiful time under President Trump. We're going to be so prosperous. We're going to be at peace.
Oh, look, see, Zuckerberg's trying to freeze up Harim. They're trying to freeze you up a little. Zuckerberg was freezing you for a second. Well, I was talking to some of my Christian friends about this, because they're saying, oh, well, it's obviously the end times. We're seeing the end times because of the events unfolding. And I have always said the Bible is very clear. We're not going to know. We're not going to know the time of God, so you can't possibly know. But if the end times are coming, you guys, seriously, if the end times are coming, then y'all got to get to work making sure as many souls are going to go up and not down. So if we really believe, if my Christian friends, those of you who really believe the end times are coming, get busy and start doing the work that you believe God is telling you to do, because there's no time like now. If that's what you truly believe, you should be working extra hard.
Suzzanne, I love you for saying that, because I've said the same message. And I'm not here either as a holier than thou or that I'm perfect, but I do fear God. I do. I have some kind of respect and reverence for my Creator, because I know that He is there, and He's aware, and He's an invisible God that is in control of everything. Even when bad things happen, He uses it for His own purpose. Right. So, I've said the same message. Just we gotta be prepared, because whether the end times or not, we can die. Right. How many? We see
it in times for you, and then you better have done your work when you show up to Peter at the gate. You know what I'm saying?
And that's some real stuff.
Yeah.
That's Zuckerberg. I'm getting messages on my messenger. I apologize.
Oh, okay, good.
But then you have a man like President Trump. He's not perfect either. But you know what? He's brought God back into the country. He's brought God back into the White House. He's brought God back into the American home. He's brought God back into the American soul. He sure has done it for me, and I'm sure he's done it for so many others. He's a true leader being used by God. So, a leader, we follow our leader.
Saul. We know the story of Saul in the Bible. Saul who eventually became Paul, Saul murdered Christians. He opposed the Christian movement. And then God came and spoke to him and used someone who once attacked his own people as one of the greatest advocates and voices for Christianity. Paul became it was Peter and Paul. Without Paul, most Christians outside of Jerusalem, most non-Jews wouldn't know Jesus at all if it wasn't for Paul. And Paul was a man who, in his early days, by the name of Saul, murdered Christians on a regular basis. So when people say, Trump isn't, a holy man, he's got roughness around the edges, he's been in multiple marriages, he's got sin. He hasn't been murdering Christians on the road to Damascus, okay? So God can use anybody. It is not for us to decide who God uses.
It's funny that you say that, because I was at synagogue on Saturday, and when we were having lunch, there was this gentleman, and he brought up the same issue, like about Trump, like, he's this and that. So I brought him up, and I went a little bit further, and I said, wait a minute. I said, first of all, you got to remember King David. Yep. King David had a sexual affair with a married woman. Yep. Judah, one of the sons of Abraham, which was one of the leaders of the tribe to which the Messiah comes from, he slept with what he thought was a prostitute. There were so many people in the biblical times that done so many worse things than me or President Trump. Yeah. Yet God used them in a very, very big way. Right. And so you're right, all the way to the New Testament, I'm sure. But the thing is that it's so obvious what President Trump is doing, and I really feel and I really believe and I really know that he's allowing himself to be guided and to be led by God, and is doing everything. And I'm like, that's not only that, but now countries are following after him. I know. Look what he's
We're going to change the world with this move, this very simple thing, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, which presidents have promised since 1995 to do and have failed to do. By actually living up to that promise, I was saying we're empowering other nations to stand behind Israel, who have wanted to stand behind Israel all along, but poor little nations like Guatemala, Honduras, they don't have the kind of clout in the international community, and they're going to get attacked as well. And now finally, with the United States standing up, we can start to create that coalition again of nations that respect national sovereignty. And it's important we do it because Europe has fallen to globalism nearly entirely.
Yeah. It's so cool. Our president is making the world great, not just America, the world. Look at how many supporters he has in so many countries. Where they have their own rallies for our president.
We were just talking about the UK going to do a march for Trump later in the year. They're excited to have Trump come out to England. Yes. I was just watching a video. It's on my page. I'll tag you in it so you can see.
Oh, please do. Is it an event page already?
It was literally a video of them talking about the march coming up and sending a message to President Trump that they love what he's doing, they respect what he's doing, and they're going to hold a big march for him when he comes out when he goes over to England to visit, because there's been a lot of conflict. London doesn't want Trump to show up. They're just like Chicago. Trump can't come here. Well, he can. He can go wherever he wants.
Los Angeles, too. They say that in Los Angeles, too.
I know. And yet, there's so many, it's funny, even in these very blue places, some of the biggest Trump supporters I've found have come from some of these deep blue, anti-Trump places. And, if you couldn't stop us in Chicago, Harim, all the stuff I went through in Chicago with my store being attacked and all of the events, and I know what you've been going through out in LA, just the threats to your life, death threats, all kinds of this stuff. If that didn't stop us all the way through 2016, 2017, it's now going to be 2018. If we're still here, hoot, hoot, hoot on the Trump train, there's nothing that's going to stop this movement. And it's so the world needed this to happen.
Absolutely. I got to tell you something. Kind of interesting. In the Hebrew, and I'm sure you've heard of it, in the Hebrew alphabet, the Hebrew letters have a numerical value.
Yes.
Okay. And actually, some rabbis have been able to decipher the Torah and came out with a lot of events that actually came to life.
Right.
But this was interesting when President Trump started running for president. And this is called the gematria, which is the numerical value of the alphabet, Hebrew letters.
Right.
So they did the gematria on President Trump's name. And when they did it in Hebrew, it meant Messiah. Messiah. Now, Messiah can be anyone, not just the Messiah, the main Messiah, because Messiah in Hebrew means anointed. So every king in Israel was a form of a Messiah because he was an anointed one. Aaron was, he was the priest. He was a Messiah, an anointed one. Right. But there's a difference when the Messiah appears. He's going to be the great Messiah, the actual one. But a lot of religious and devout Jewish friends were saying that. And I believe it, that Trump is like the Messiah of the world, of America. He really is the anointed one of America. And thank God for that, because we really needed it.
Well, he's kind of like a John the Baptist type. He's kind of like, he's prepared. Through the work he's doing, through the message he's sharing, he's busy over there baptizing everybody he can so that they're prepared for the next phase of what the world is going to go through, which is, I believe, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, people can take it for what it is. I believe the world is coming into a time of great individual liberty where we have made great impact against collectivism. We are going to defeat this globalist movement. And as we do that, we will be opening up the world for all kinds of freedom and individual liberty that isn't even happening in so many countries. As we all know, places like Saudi Arabia, Iran, many, North Korea, even in Russia, there are limits to individual freedom. And the progressive movement has tried to use collectivism to impose their idea of what freedom is. But what we know, what you know and I know, Harim, because we believe in national sovereignty, what really protects freedom is the individual nation having a right to set their own laws, and the people in that nation having the ability to affect the laws of their own nation. When you take that away from the people of the nation and you put that into a global body like the UN or like the progressive movement, you're actually taking decisions away from the individual people. You're ruining individual liberty, not helping them be more free by imposing your progressive ideas.
We the people.
We the people.
That's what it boils down to. We the people.
Yep. I feel like we've been in stages. I feel like we formed America and we made this place, and I feel like we're in the second coming now of America. I feel like it's time for America 2.0. We are going to bring back that original idea, but finally, with all of the history and all of the progress we've made in really breaking down the racial divide, we started this country, slavery was intact, and our founding fathers, many of them opposed slavery directly, and it's written into our Constitution, their opposition of slavery, but we had to found this country in the reality we were living in. And now we have evolved as a people, as a society, and we've removed slavery. And America was a huge part of ending a lot of slavery in the world. And unfortunately, where slavery still exists is in Muslim countries. I mean, I hate to be honest about it, but that's what the case is. So I feel like we're at America 2.0, where we can finally live up to the dream that the founders gave us of a country free, a country that is protected from an oppressive government and that is run by, of, and for the people. I think we can finally live up to that.
You're absolutely correct. And man, sorry, I got another message. I'm very excited. It's a great time, and now I remember what I was going to say. I really believe with everything that you were saying, I was thinking what I always think, and that's that, America, the United States, is a result of everything gone wrong since the beginning of time. We've are a result where we have been resilient and we have overcome all that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we haven't been up to like where we should be. But President Trump is getting us there.
Yeah.
We're going to be the America that our forefathers
Yep.
intended this nation to be.
Yep.
And we all know what it is. We all know how it's going to be. And it's happening right before our eyes. That's why every single immigrant has come to our country from every single country in the world.
Because we're the shining light on the hill, and we used to be better at that. We used to be a lot brighter light on that hill, and we have allowed throughout the Obama administration, and frankly, even into the Bush administration, we've allowed political elitism, progressive ideology, and statism, putting power to the federal government as opposed to the states and to the people. We've allowed that to decay that bright light on the hill. And that's what we've always been. That's what America has always been. We've been a beacon of hope for the world, a place where they can live free, worship as they choose, raise their family as they choose.
So, Suzzanne, so at the end of the day, it's up to us, patriots, to defend that, to vote, because that is our greatest weapon, to vote, to be in our local governments and nationwide, to defend it, to pray also, to support, to do our part. We all have an important role to play in this movement. Let's use it. From the person that prays to the candidate that's running for office to help drain the swamp, to the person that gives financially supports, to the person that's out there in the town hall city council meetings that is out there counter protesting, to the person that's out there with in his car waving his American window flag. Right. We all, have
my
a
keyboard
part to play.
warriors, just sit and click share and just share the information and share the articles. You can do a lot of help for this movement. Just sit in front of your computer at home and make sure that information that the fake news doesn't want us to hear actually gets out. That's how we defeated Hillary Clinton in the first place, is so many patriots sharing real information.
You're absolutely
Denise
right.
Ledbetter, Denise. She's busy talking to us about Bruce Nathan, who's running for governor down in Florida. There's so many great MAGA candidates, and I've been saying a lot. There's a lot of ways to support. In addition to sending a little money, don't send your money to the RNC, send it to these MAGA candidates, but we can share their pages, we can share their information, make sure other patriots, because all of these candidates don't have big campaign funds to hire a bunch of people to sit and, do social media for them. We patriots are going to have to pick up that mantle.
Yeah, and then another great thing is to educate other people that might be misinformed, whether they're on the right side, whether they're Republicans or whether they're Democrats. Right. And if I may share, for example, let me share a little story. And I posted this the other night. I went to volunteer for our veterans the other day, and there was another volunteer lady there. And we started talking. She was very nice, and she brought up President Trump and how she wasn't fond of him. So I started to, I was like, she seems like a nice lady. I got to talk to her and inform her. So I told her all these facts, and I debunked all these lies and the whole racist narrative. And at the end, she said, you know what? Thank you for telling me. I'm going to give him a chance. I was like, yes, that's all I asked for. Give him a chance. Find the truth. You will see. And she was so nice about it. And there you go. That's what we need to do, because that's what's going to help that's what's going to help us in return. That's going to benefit us.
I'm so glad you shared that story, because it's so important. So many people are afraid. How we got to PC culture is so many people are afraid of what other people are going to think. And you were able to talk with this woman, not in a harsh way, not in a negative way, but in a open, shared humanity. She's another American. She's a human being. You're an American. You're a human being. You're just sharing your take on the situation, and just sharing your truth with her allowed her to open her heart and defeated that negative narrative that she's heard from the fake news just by opening your heart. And so there's so many, I'm just as quick to make fun of snowflakes as anyone, but when we have the chance, like you mentioned, Hareem, when we have the chance to talk to people, and we can do that in an open, loving way, we should take every opportunity, because it only takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to turn off that hate spigot in somebody's brain and help them to even just step back. And, you probably helped that woman. She probably is sleeping better now because she's not so hateful every minute of the day.
Wow. You're right. Probably so. I hope so. So, that's our mission. That's our goal. And like I said, at the end, it's going to benefit us as Americans.
Yep.
And, I'm excited. This is such a great time to be an American.
Yep.
This is history. This is history in the making. And you know what? I'm like so honored to be part of it. And it all just started, like I said, with our passion for our country and for our president. And look what has come of it. It's big to where the whole world has their eyes on us. I'm so privileged. I thank God that my mom came here legally and I was born here. You know what? And I wanted to respond to someone, and this is another great goal that we should have and focus. Sandra Smith, a good patriot, says, Illinois needs patriot candidates desperately. And what I wanted, and it goes along to what I was saying earlier, and a lot of people, because they reach out to me and they say, you know what, we don't have any patriots here in where I live, or there's no rallies, or there's no protest, or there's nobody here with the voice. And usually I don't get a chance to respond, but what I want to say is, you are there. You're there. You're reaching out. You be the one.
Right.
You be the one to stand. You be the one to start organizing, even if it's just you. Because I'm going to tell you something, Suzzanne. When I started doing this, I didn't know there was other patriots here in Los Angeles.
I'm the same way.
I thought I was the only one. And I was the only one in my own community, because I used to drive with my Trump signs. You see the one back there?
Yeah.
I had another one on my doors of my car. I have my American flags. I had my Trump bumper stickers. I had my Trump shirts, my Trump hats. I would go everywhere. I would go on the street on 4th of July. I was waving my American flag all by myself.
Yeah.
All by myself. So, you know what? It doesn't matter. You could do it by yourself. Be safe. Do it by yourself. Start coming out, and guess what? You will inspire others. And before you know it, just like I have, it started with me, and then I met up with other Trump supporters, and then we were 5, and then we were 10, then we were 20, and now we come out to rallies. We could get together maybe like about 300, 400, 500. Don't get me wrong, and we still more out there.
Yeah.
So we try to motivate and try to reach out to come out. But where does it start? It starts with us.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because Fred Schneider, who is one of the founders, one of the main guys at Overpasses for America, he says that all the time. If you can't find any inspiration, then you be the inspiration. And he's constantly reminding me, and I'm bringing him up because he's like, you didn't tell me your video was coming on, so I couldn't share it. And he's so good at sharing my video for me. But he's also one of these people who says, look, just get an American flag, pick a street corner somewhere, go stand out on the street, and wave your flag. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be angry. I got myself a flag that said Merry Christmas. I just went down the other week and just started saying Merry Christmas to people. This kind of just bringing this kind of interaction back, showing pride in our country, showing pride in our holidays, and showing connection with other Americans. That's what we need to do. And you don't need a bunch of people to do that. You need one. And you know it, and I know it, because, just like you, I made one woman for Trump videos, just me and my Trump sign, standing out on Michigan Avenue in Chicago, just to prove to people, because early on, people were so afraid. They're like, oh, you can't show your support for Trump in Chicago or LA. You can't show because people will attack you. And I was like, no, I'm going to prove to you, you can survive on the streets of Chicago holding a Trump sign. And we did, and you did the same thing. And I'm humble, and I know you're humble, but I'm going to give you credit for it, and you can pass it on back to me. We helped inspire other people to get the cojones to come out and join us, Harim, just by standing out there alone?
I gotta say, for a very, very long time until now, so many people reach out to me and they tell me, thank you, you inspired me. Thank you. You got me out to come out. You're a leader and wow, blah, blah. And then I'm like, but for a long time, I never felt that way. I was like, no, I'm no one. It's just me. I have a lot of, just passion for my country and my president. But you know what? I'm starting to see that, Suzzanne, and I'm amazed because
it's very
I'll tell you why.
And it's very humbling.
I'm so honored and so humbled, and I'll share this with you. So last night, somebody shared somebody's live feed. I never heard of this guy, never even seen him, never met him, but he had about almost 150 viewers, right? And I got on there, and I was interested to see what he was saying, and he was talking about what was going on in Memphis. And he saw me come on, and he says, "Oh, Harim is here. Wow, Harim is here. How you do?" And I'm like, I wanted to cry, and I'm like, oh my God, here I am. I don't know this guy. I don't even have him as a friend. I got out and I was like, do I have him as a friend on Facebook? He's not even a friend on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I went back and he's like, oh, calling my name, acknowledging me. And I'm like, who the hell am I? I'm no one. But then that's why I'm saying I'm starting to realize, and I'm so honored to be a part of history with all of you patriots, with you, Suzzanne. I know you've been there since the beginning. That's why I have a lot of respect for you. You know the true ones. Sorry, I got another message. But it's so humbling. I'm so honored. But it only takes one person, Suzzanne. So it could be you, me. It could be any single one of us. And if we could all rise up to the occasion and inspire others and be the leaders that we were called to be, because every single one of us has that potential, this would be even more amazing. So that's another goal and another focus that I say, I'm not a leader. We're all leaders.
I call us the refounders. We talk about the founding fathers and the founding mothers. I think we're the refounders. Yes. We are refounding this country. And, all of those men and women, they made a lot of sacrifices back in the beginning of this country. And I'm sure some of them had egos, but a lot of them were just like us. They just got out in there and they fought the redcoats and they protected their country. Well, there are many, many patriots that we never know their name, but they did great things in the battle to make this country in the first place. And I feel like we're going through that all again. I'm just honored to be even a small part of it, even the small part I have. Yeah. And it brings me such warmth to know that fellow patriots like you, Harim, consider me family. That actually, it's one of the things that makes me get up, and I know it's the same for you, because I hear you when you talk, and I hear you on your live feeds. It's the thing that makes you get up in the morning. You get up, you've seen the fake news, you go into bed tired, you're trying to pay your bills, you're dealing with personal issues, you got struggles, you go to bed heavy of heart. You wake up and sometimes you're like, I could just stay in bed. But then that energy, that feeling in your heart rises up and it says, there are people in this country that need me to keep being the patriot I am so that they can keep being the patriot they are. We need to keep doing each one of our parts. And I know you feel the same way. And you inspire me to get up. And I hope every now and then I do a little bit the same. And we got to keep passing that inspiration around.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I got to tell you, I want to go. I'm trying to keep things in order, but I get a little bit, I go a little bit off. But, you're talking about, inspiring others, and it takes one. You inspire me, I inspire you, and we're all leaders, and we all got to rise up to the occasion and give the best of us. And it is such a beautiful time in history to be part of this. What I was going to say, and this is my passion. It truly is my passion, because I know that I'm standing up for every single American, and every single American is going to get to the point where we're going to be joyous and free and at peace. Yeah. And that's what we deserve as Americans. That's what this nation was founded on. And I mean, I love this. You know, a lot of people say, you know, find what you're passionate about and do it. And I realized the other day, I was like, you know what? This is my passion. Yeah. This is my passion, my country and my president. And it's a beautiful time to be able to express it, you know, and do it, even though regardless of the death threats and the name calling or whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, you know, we still continue. I was going to say something else, but it slipped my mind. But anyway, this is my passion.
No, we still have to keep continuing. We have, and that passion is what's going to bring this country back. That we have that, and what's awesome, Harim, is that passion. We saw, you know, I followed you. You know, we got to know each other pretty early in the movement, and I saw that blossom. You know, that tree of patriotism. I saw that sapling grow out of you, and we've seen it in other people. And, you know, when I get up in the morning, when you look at it, you know, for many years prior to Trump running, I felt I was the only patriot in the world sometimes, you know. I was the only person who really cared about the news or politics. Right. Nobody wanted to talk about that. I'm just, you know, a news wonk, as they say. I'm the nerdy one who cares about all that. So I felt alone for many years, just not really feeling there's anybody who cares as much about this country as I do. But then Trump came along, and the Trump movement has revealed to me there's millions of us. There's millions of us, hundreds and thousands of millions of people who have that same tree of patriotism that grows out of their heart and that same passion. And wow, does that make you feel better to be in the world where you're not alone? Actually, there's a whole family of people, a whole country of people waiting to, and frankly, I think we're going to get a lot of these little whiny liberals over onto our side if we just keep being the positive, strong, America first, America loving patriots that we are.
Yeah, you know what? And I remember what I was going to say, which goes along to what you were saying. You know how you were saying that we're family. We definitely are family. That's why you've seen me on videos. When I meet new patriots, they want to shake my hand, or I'm like, no, come here, give me a hug. We are family. We are family. Yeah. And the passion, we that patriotic spirit, thanks to Donald Trump, has been ignited, and it's like flaming like a flaming torch, and it's and that's how I feel it inside of me. And that's why I'm so passionate. And it's a beautiful thing when you see other patriots. And this kind of reminds me of like 9/11. Remember when 9/11 happened? Mm-hmm. And after that, everybody had their American flags everywhere. I was like, wow, this is so cool. We're coming together. We're coming united. But then after that, it died down. And it made me sad.
And the division came back, and the hate came back.
Yes.
Because I think that, you know, when all of America is faced with a similar tragedy, we come together, but then we had a government that didn't necessarily keep us together. You know, the people at the top, I mean, Bush, he got in the war, he fought, but it didn't really keep us together. And then we get into Obama, and the division just got out of control. Trump is different because he doesn't have the same political aspirations as any politician we've ever seen. And that's one of the reasons I saw when he came down, I saw it in his face. He's just a really rich version of you or me. He loves this country, and he wants to make this country great again.
Yes, you're so right. Like, he's just a rich person, but a version of us, but just very rich.
Yeah, he's just got a lot of money, and God bless him for having that, because we needed somebody with that kind of ability to stand up for us. I feel like the Patriot movement was waiting to happen, and we just needed somebody who we could centralize around. And now that we have that, I think we're growing deeper and more connected. And we're going to have a great 8 years with Trump, but I think we're going to be able to continue that beyond even Trump's presidency, because we are building something that's even greater than just Trump in the next 8 years. It's 100 years worth of, it's something that will last years and decades into the future, like the founding of this country. I think we're actually going through a similarly important time in our world.
So awesome to be an American. I'm so proud. I love my country. I love my family. I love you, Suzzanne. I love my president. This is very exciting. Look what he's already done in this year, in just 1 year.
Just 1 year, we've got
Just
so much done.
1 year, you know, and he's gonna do. I think I saw or read somewhere. I think where either he said or tweeted or something. I don't know, but just wait till next year. Oh my goodness, we're gonna be America. I mean, we're gonna be able to pay our mortgages, pay our rent, not live paycheck to paycheck, have food on our tables, take care of our veterans, of our elderly, of our homeless, of our children that unfortunately are orphans, of our people that are sick, that are really sick, of Americans. We're all going to be taken care of. We're all going to be living happy. We're all going to be living that American dream.
Yeah, the melting pot, the dream of all people, different people. You know, what's been so great about the Trump movement, and you've seen it as well as I do, the left is far more racist and, you know, a bunch of white folks. And on the Trump side, it's Latinos for Trump, it's blacks for Trump, it's Jews for Trump, it's, I mean,
Asians
we have tranny for crying out loud. We have transgenders we have the diversity on this side of the political spectrum has been so great. And I think that's going to actually, you know, when Trump gets these jobs back, coming back into our country, when he gets this, when all that's happening, he's not getting the jobs for white people. He's getting the jobs for everybody. Who's really going to be impacted is the black community, the urban community. They're going to see a lot of this. Our legal Latino community is going to see a lot of these jobs come back. As he deals with illegal immigration, a lot of that illegal immigration has lowered our wages, kept those jobs away from the American people. Those jobs are going to come back. And so we're going to see so much of this movement get even more rainbow colored than it already is, because the results that Trump is doing are really impacting poorer people, working class people. And that's a lot of our ethnic community here in the country.
I love my president. I love Trump. I really do. So awesome. I'm so excited. Good times up ahead. Brace yourself for that. I'm all ready. We're all ready, and exciting times. I'm very happy. But Suzzanne, listen, I gotta go. I got only
Thank you so much for coming in.
I just saw my battery, and I gotta go eat. I gotta start getting ready.
Thank you so much for coming in, and I really loved having this conversation. I know everybody enjoyed having it and listening in on it. And you know, I love you, my brother, with all my heart, and I'm looking forward to giving you a big hug again as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless everyone that tuned in. God bless America. God bless our president. God bless Israel. I love you all. Talk to you later.
We love him, you guys. That's my brother right there. That's my brother right there. So, you guys, that's our show. I wanted to just mention really quickly, because we're going to keep following this issue before I let it go, because I put it in the topics. They're totally hitting Melania on this tree issue. So we're going to talk about that again tomorrow, about the Jefferson tree, the Jefferson magnolia. It's totally hilarious because, as you know, they got all mad at the trees that were in between the black neighborhood and the white golf course because they're racist trees. But then there's they're mad because we're going to take down a tree from Jefferson, who was a slave owner. I feel like the left is very confused. Okay, so we're going to reveal some more about their confusion tomorrow. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. I'm so glad you have had Hareem able to come in and just have a great conversation, because it just goes to show you how passionate this patriot movement is, how serious this, yes, tune in for Tree Talk tomorrow, Mark, how serious this movement is, that we are a family and we're going to make this country great again together. I love you, my patriot family. Hareem, as always, I love you guys. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for all the tuning in. Please click share if you get a chance to yet. Let your friends know about Trump Talk. We're going to keep sharing all the information. Your girl, Suzzanne Monk, Trump Talk US. Just 20 minutes from the swamp, you guys. Just 20 minutes. Just right down here. Making America great again. One video live at a time. Love you guys. It's your girl Monk. Jumping out.